Russell still looked like he couldn't believe his ears and said, "Still, a price of over 800,000 gold for each item." The disbelief in his tone was so thick you could almost touch it. His eyes narrowed suspiciously at Heimer, the way one might look at a sly street merchant rather than a renowned blacksmith. Heimer's proud face twitched, and his voice cracked as he defended himself. "Hey now, don't look at me like that. I'm not cheating anyone." He looked genuinely hurt, like a master artisan suddenly accused of being a scammer. But Ryu didn't flinch. He looked at the materials and gave a slight, knowing smile. Inside, he was already calculating the worth, and said, "This is fair. These are materials used for god-tier items after all. For less than 1,000,000 gold per item, it was a bargain, especially considering what he planned to craft. After all, Ryu wasn't short on money. His coffers were overflowing with gold, about 65 million to be exact. After slaying the angel, his wealth had multiplied several times over, and now he stood like a man who could buy kingdoms if he pleased. He thought, eyes narrowing with foresight. "I won't have much use for all this gold now, but it will come in handy later, especially during the 17th round. Gold will be key." Russell, still reeling, tried to talk some sense into him. "Isn't this a bit too much? Maybe you should think about it more." But Ryu didn't hesitate and said, "I'll buy it." Heimer blinked, certain he'd misheard, saying, "Wise decision, so let's just—" "Wait, what?" Ryu repeated, his tone steady as a mountain. "I said, I'll buy the materials." Heimer's jaw dropped open, saying, "This is a sum even the Hormos Merchant Guild would hesitate to pay." Ryu replied smoothly, "I've got plenty of gold. Let's just make the deal." In an instant, a glowing trade window appeared before him. "Please freely select the items or gold you wish to trade." No items selected. Gold, 5,932,900 G. Materials, Mandragora's magic stem, adamantium plate, new material leather, wind spirit's feather, magic core, 2 pieces of black iron powder. Gold, 0 grams. Trade. Both parties must agree for the transaction to be completed. Ryu pressed the button without hesitation. A faint chime sounded, metallic, final. His gold vanished, and the 7 rare materials shimmered into his inventory. A small, satisfied smirk curled his lips, and he said to himself, "Now I have everything I need to craft the god-tier boots and weapon, except for one thing. The missing piece, the core material condensed ether, wasn't something Heimer could provide. That Ryu would have to earn himself," he thought. "I already have 1 ether from killing Sariel, so I can at least make the boots." He would have preferred to start with the weapon, but that required 2 pieces of condensed ether, a treasure that could only be obtained from defeating archangels. Ryu added, "If I take down 2 archangels like before, I should be able to get it." But whether archangels would appear again this round, that was uncertain. Heimer suddenly broke into laughter, shaking his head in disbelief, saying, "Ha, I can't believe you're really buying these materials. How could someone like you have such wealth?" Ryu's lips curved faintly as he gave a curt answer, saying, "I got lucky." With that, he turned away, cloak swaying lightly as he waved a hand behind him, saying, "Now that I'm done here, I'll take my leave." Heimer gave a respectful nod and said, "It was nice to see you, the ahead one." Ryu smiled slightly, saying, "I enjoyed our meeting too, Blacksmith Heimer." Then he looked at the young man beside him and said, "Russell, keep up the good work. I'll be back in 3 hours, so see you then." Russell blinked, inquiring, "You're coming back? Why?" Ryu's eyes gleamed with confidence, saying, "I want to see how much stronger you have gotten." Russell straightened, his voice firm and resolute. "Understood. I'll work hard and wait for your return." Ryu said, "Good. See you later." With a final nod, Ryu stepped outside the smithy. The ground cracked slightly under his feet as he pushed off. 2 vast wings of darkness burst from his back, spreading like a storm of shadow. In one powerful motion, he soared upward, cutting through the sky like a streak of night. While Russell busied himself with his training quest, Ryu flew high above the clouds, deep in thought. "I've already passed this round, and I've completed all my objectives." He couldn't just idle around. That wasn't his style. There was always something more to do, something to gain. After a moment of reflection, a thought crossed his mind, and he said, "It might be best to take on a mercenary quest." He recalled his current mercenary rank, veteran. Only 1 step remained before reaching master, and that rank came with a crucial privilege, the right to hunt dragons. He said, his eyes narrowing with determination, "I need to kill a dragon. The items, titles, and runes you get from it are invaluable." Dragon hunts weren't just about glory. They yielded god-tier god-tier accessories, one of the 18 essential runes, and even a special title. For someone like Ryu, there was no reason to pass that up, but reality had its limits. Ryu said, "I can't do it now. The impenetrable barrier is blocking access." Even knowing where a dragon's nest was didn't help. It was like standing before a sealed treasure vault, just like Elisorium's vault, which no one could break into by force. Ryu added, "The only way in is by raising my mercenary rank to master." He let out a quiet sigh, then smiled to himself and said, "No need to worry. It's just one more rank to go. A few more mercenary quests would do the trick." And at the veteran rank, the rewards were far greater than those of normal side missions. So there was every reason to dive in. After a few minutes of silent flight, his wings folded as he descended gracefully. He landed softly on the cobblestone streets of the kingdom of Albits. Ryu said, "It's here." Before him stood the towering emblem of the Golden Eagle Mercenary Guild, its symbol gleaming proudly in the sun. The guild had branches in every major city. He never had to travel far to find one. Ryu paused, his eyes gleaming with ambition. He murmured under his breath, voice filled with anticipation. Before taking on a mercenary quest, he opened his crafting window, and a shimmering blue interface illuminated his face. Main materials: high-quality leather boots. Sub-materials: condensed ether, black iron powder, Mandragora's magic stem, new material leather, wind spirit's feather. He tightened his grip. His heart thumped with excitement. This was not just crafting, this was evolution. He declared with a confident spark in his eyes. "Let's craft the god-tier item." He couldn't craft a god-tier weapon yet, so he would start with a piece of armor that could shift the battlefield beneath his feet. Boots. The crafting notifications rang one after another like triumphant fanfare. "You are crafting a god-tier item. The item will transform to match your current class. Crafting success. You have created the boots of Thanatos." Dark, sleek boots materialized in his hands. Their aura felt cold, like a whisper from the underworld. Then he opened the information window. Boots of Thanatos. Type: boots. Rank: God. Defense: 1200. Effect: all stats plus 50. Movement speed plus 100%. Allows you to walk on air in darkness. Durability: 20,000/20,000. Usage restriction: master rank or above. Description: boots crafted using the divine essence of Thanatos, the god of death. Wearing them as part of the Thanatos set grants additional effects. Thanatos set effect, 4 out of 5. 2-piece effect, plus 20% resistance. 3-piece effect, plus 10% skill damage. 4-piece effect, minus 30% incoming damage. 5-piece effect. Ryu let out a slow exhale of awe. The power coursing through the boots was undeniable. His fingers brushed their surface, and a small grin curled his lips. He whispered, "These are insane. As long as it's dark, I can walk freely in mid-air." His imagination ignited. He pictured himself sprinting across invisible platforms high above enemies, then dropping like a raven from the night sky. He could dodge, chase, escape, and strike from angles no one could predict. This was more than gear. It was a new battlefield. He admired the set bonuses again. A 30% reduction in incoming damage. That could mean the difference between life and death in a heartbeat. His eyes sharpened and he said, "That's the 4th piece. Now I just need to get the weapon and I'll have all the god-tier items." Only dragons and towering bosses guarded the remaining accessories. Ryu wasn't intimidated. He was eager, and he said, "I'd better rank up in the mercenary guild soon." He secured the boots and strode forward with urgency, heading straight toward the Golden Eagle Mercenary Guild. Elsewhere, in a blinding realm of celestial radiance, a crisp clicking sound echoed as a device activated. "Frown more, Ragel." Uriel, calm and composed, watched his companion with patient eyes. Ragel, the 5th-ranked angel, twisted his expression deeper into irritation. His wings twitched, a sign of boiling pride. He finally snapped, saying, "Uriel, this is absurd. Why do 2 of us need to go just to deal with 1 human? What's so terrifying about a mere bug of a human?" Every word dripped with insult. It was was clear his pride had taken a brutal hit. Raguel believed the mission was beneath him. Uriel held back a sigh and said, I admit it's strange, too. How powerful could a human be? Raguel threw his hands up dramatically, saying, Exactly, Uriel. There's no need for someone of your caliber to get involved. Uriel's response was gentle, but firm. As he said, But what can we do? Both Gabriel and Raphael agreed to this. We can't just refuse. Raguel inquired, What were they thinking, making us take such pointless measures? Raguel's wings fluttered aggressively. He felt mocked, belittled. Uriel said, They must have thought it was safer for both of us to handle it. Raguel froze. His eyes narrowed with suspicion, inquiring, It's not that they don't trust me to do the job alone, is it? Uriel hesitated just long enough to hurt, and said, I can't deny that possibility. Raguel's jaw clenched and shouted, Do they not know how well I performed in the Celestial Demon War? The memory of past glory flared in his eyes. He had stood victorious atop mountains of demons. He was not some disposable pawn. Uriel nodded in respect, saying, I know, and so do the higher-ups. That's why you were promoted to Archangel after that war. Raguel inquired, Then why? Now he sounded more wounded than angry. Uriel added, They just want to make sure it's dealt with thoroughly. After all, you know what happens when we underestimate someone. Raguel scoffed loudly. Are you saying they're aware of my skills, yet still doubt me? I can handle a mere bug of a human. Uriel shot him a sharp look, saying, And how did those who were so confident fare? They're all missing in action, aren't they? Raguel fell silent, eyes darkening. Uriel said, There's a 99% chance you'll succeed alone, but with two of us, it's 100%. That's why they ordered both of us to go. Thanks to our friend who supported the channel financially in the previous video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and support the channel financially.